Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, and how do you do? All right, good morning. This morning we gather together to worship as a community of all ages. Let us take a moment to look around at those of us sharing this sacred space. Look around. Look around. Let us recognize the hearts of our community, from our elders to our youngest, and all the ages in between. Let us embody this beauty of this whole church community, even when there are a few more wiggles, giggles, and chatter. Let us remind ourselves to listen carefully, calming our bodies and our minds. Begin by breathing peace and joy into this sacred space with 3 big breaths. Know that you are surrounded by the love of this community, where all are welcome. Please rise as you are able and join in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
Stirrings of compassion.
I think we're going to leave those rear doors open, Karen. We're going to leave the rear doors open so people can sit outside those doors if they need to. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Sarasota and Lakewood Ranch. My name is Mary Lou Keller, and I'm the member of the worship committee, which coordinates the Sunday services when our minister is away. I hope that you're all staying safe and well in this heat. I'd like to extend a special welcome today to any visitors that we have in person or via live stream, and invite you to visit the church's website, Visitor Center, where you can find a link on the homepage banner marked Welcome Visitors. We also invite you to register in our virtual guest book so that we can send you our newsletter, The Contact, to help you to get to know us better. You're welcome to attend our virtual events, and you can get a Zoom link to specific events by contacting our office via email. We're still having the Wednesday lunchtime and the Friday afternoon happy hours, and there's a Zoom call. You can check in. It's a nice small group of us who have gotten to know each other. There's also a donate button on the homepage if you'd like to make a donation online. You're welcome to stay for coffee hour after the service in the courtyard and to enjoy our art exhibition, Everything Under the Sun, in the Lexau wing across the courtyard, straight across. It's a wonderful exhibition. We have a special treat today. Yolanda Stevens and her family have provided ice cream for us all to enjoy after the service in the Lexau wing. Yay! And if you need help with Breeze, Breeze is our online congregational directory. And you put your name, everyone's name and phone and name and picture are probably there, but we're trying to get more people to put their biographies on. And if you need help with that, Catherine Bonner is going to be in the Reeb room, which is on the east side, helping people get onto the system. She's going to have a laptop set up, and she's going to be able to get you on that system and help you get some information on there. And this is going to be a big help when Reverend Jay arrives, because he's not going to know us, and we're going to be wearing masks. So if you're not already on the Breeze and putting some information into your bio, that would be really helpful for Reverend Jay. If you'd like to volunteer to be creative with the children this summer, we're doing an art program, Catherine Bonner. Please see Catherine Bonner or me. I'm the children's chair. There's nothing like interacting with our youngest UUs for an hour to revive your wilted spirits. And I know that many of us have a heavy heart this week after Friday's Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. This huge step backwards in social progress, along with the other recent and for future Supreme Court decisions, has shaken many of us to the foundation of our souls. After today's service, we invite those who need or would like a place to vent our emotions to join us in the West Wing. We have some information on next steps that we take, but mostly we'll be commiserating. I encourage you to stop by the Lexau wing, get some ice cream first, and then come so you have something to cry into. Today we have a unique service that I hope you will all find soothing. We will link storytelling, a healing sound bath, and contributions from far away and close by. We do have a disclaimer for this service, as noted in your program. If you have a heart pacemaker, a coronary stent, cardiac shunt, artificial heart valves, or an ICD, it may be better for you to sit out the 10-minute sound bath. There's chairs set up just outside the door out there, and we're leaving the doors open, so if anyone needs to go sit outside, they can sit outside, and we will call you back in when we're done. And that will be when Endera gets up to play these bowls. That would be your cue to go that way. And now we begin with a more traditional musical interlude with Don Bryn. Sure. I just have a new announcement. We'll be showing the Sunday morning service from General Assembly. I had this in my service, but we're going to be showing the Sunday morning service from General Assembly, the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly. Our gathering of Unitarian Universalists is being held in Portland this week. And we're showing the last service after this service at 12:30 in this room. Klaus is going to bring up the live stream on our screen. And if you haven't attended any of these services, they've been quite wonderful. And then at 3:30, we're going to show the final general session and the closing ceremony. Klaus is going to show that. Okay. And now we will light our chalice. And Endera Stevens is going to join me. I can't believe this, but there's no match here. And the matches are in here. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. I get time to be comfortable on stage. Can you hear me?
We rehearsed so much of this service, but we didn't rehearse this. All right, so you light the chalice, and I'll say the words.
Okay, if I know how to use them.
Yes. As we light this chalice, the symbol of unity, you can say this along with me. As we light this chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, we affirm our third principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth within our congregations. And you can just stay here while I introduce you, if that's okay. All right, I'm thrilled today to be introducing two of my new best friends. Actually, we've been best friends since the pandemic started. Yolanda called me and said, I think we should be good friends, and we are. Yolanda Stevens is new to the freedom of being a UU, and she loves so much about our community and how we're active in uplifting and empowering others that she calls herself an enthusiastic UU. Many of us have been recipients of her hospitality and generosity of spirit. The whole Stevens family has been so generous. She told me that our living the 7 principles, and potentially an 8th principle, fulfills and lifts her in ways that give her space to hope for a better world. Endera is co-owner of the North End Agents, the oldest and largest African-American newspaper in Connecticut, formerly published by her mother, Yolanda. She also has a spiritual business called The Gemini. We have cards down here, where she does tarot readings, Reiki, and sound healing. And her passions include art, community, family, and nature. I'm Mary Lou Keller. I'm a long-term UU who shares Yolanda and Endera's enthusiasm for our diverse UU faith and the potential for manifesting even more beauty in the world, even in the face of a sometimes harsh reality. I'm proud to introduce Endera as she guides us through a sound bath. And when she's done, we have a brief period of silence, and then we're going to remain seated as we sing the next hymn. And there is a disclaimer, so if anyone has this would be the time. If you have a heart something, you can go sit outside for a few minutes. Yes. I can't hear you. If anyone would like to move forward, you can. Very good, yes. I'm going to go sit in my seat.
All right. Is this thing on? Okay, it is on. Okay, all right. So you guys can all hear me then. Talk up a little bit louder? Yeah? Okay, talk to the back row. Got it. So hello, everyone. Thank you for the nice introduction, Mary Lou. My name is Endera and Stevens. A lot of you may know about the newspaper that I run, but I also have a spiritual business called The Gemini that I started during the pandemic, where I do Reiki, tarot, and sonic meditations, which I'll be sharing with you shortly. So these bowls are made out of crushed crystal quartz, and they are attuned to the different chakras in your body. So we have our crown chakra, which is up there. This is our spiritual connection, knowledge, and unity consciousness. And then we have our third eye chakra. This is our psychic abilities, our intuition, and our imagination. And then we have our throat chakra. This is our speech and self-expression. And then we have our heart chakra, which stands for love, self-balance, and compassion. Then we have our solar plexus, power, control, freedom to be yourself, our sacral, emotional, energy, and creativity, and also feelings of pleasure. And then we have our roots, our sense of home, our sense of security, and our survival as well. So crystal bowls emit a sound that help tune the different chakras in your body and help bring them into balance. They are known to bring deep relaxation, pain relief. They help lower the blood pressure, increase mental and emotional clarity, reduce stress and anxiety, and stimulate the immune system. And they also do so much more. So while I'm playing, I would like to ask that you all take the time to notice where you feel the different sounds in your body. And while I'm playing, Don Bryn, this amazing man, is going to be on the piano playing with me. Thank you so much, by the way. And I've also included some nature sounds, and feel free to look up at the screen because I put together a presentation of all the things that I find to be beautiful. So please enjoy your sound bath.
Probably never had a sound bath before, have you? Hold on a second. That was wonderful. I don't know what I felt, so you can come on back. Oops, hold on, take this off. This has been a real test today to wear a mask with this over the ear. Okay, very good. It's wonderful. Okay, a minute of silence.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone ever fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Thank you, Robert. And now my dear friend Yolanda is going to join us. Tell us a story.
Yes. Good morning. Outside of my professional life, I've always been a person who's loved and appreciated storytelling. One of my favorite ways to volunteer has been to read and experience stories with children. Whenever I've started reading with a group, I communicate that words have a life beyond the printed page. In order to prove and experience this, I've come up with activities to follow and tie back to the stories we shared. Something Beautiful by Sharon Dennis Wyeth is one of my favorite stories. The gorgeous illustrations you will see on the screen were done by Chris Sompier. I consider it a beloved story because its messages continue to resonate with me even after nearly 25 years. I've read this story more times than I can count, and even once with an adult audience. This will be the second time. When I was asked what I would share at a service, it was this story that came to mind. Its message is basic but powerful. It offers avenues of hope and action that lift me in meaningful ways. Today, I'd like to invite you to bring forth the simplest version of yourselves and accept this offering of life to encourage and comfort us in moments where we struggle to find beauty in our world. On those days when you need just one uncomplicated thing to offer you hope, peace, and even joy, remember what we share here today. Something beautiful. When I look through my window, I see a brick wall. There's trash in the courtyard and a broken bottle that looks like fallen stars. There's writing in the halls of my building, and on the front door, someone put the word "die." where I walk past a lady whose home is a big cardboard carton. She sleeps on the sidewalk wrapped in plastic. I run past a dark alley where Mommy told me I must never stop. Behind a fence, there's a garden without any flowers. Mommy said that everyone should have something beautiful in their life. Where is my something beautiful? Beautiful. The teacher taught me the word in school. I wrote it in my book. B-E-A-U-T-I-F-U-L. Beautiful. I think it means something that when you have it, your heart is happy. I go to Miss Delphine's diner. Hi there, Sugar Pie, says Miss Delphine. What are you up to? I'm looking for something beautiful, I tell her. Sit down for a minute, she says as she goes to the grill. She puts on fish. The fish sizzles. Miss Delphine makes it into a sandwich. There's nothing more beautiful tasting than my fried fish sandwiches, she tells me. My teeth sink in. This is good. When I go back outside, I see some of my friends. Do you have something beautiful, I ask them. I have my jump rope, says Sybil. I have my beads, says Rebecca. Check out my new shoes, says Jamil. My fruit store is one beautiful store, says Mr. Lee. You do have nice apples, I say. Thank you, says Mr. Lee. Take one. Watch my move, says Mark, playing ball in the playground. Hear my sound, says Georgina, dancing on the sidewalk. Touch this smooth stone, says old Mr. Sims, sitting on his front steps. All these years, I have carried it in my pocket. Through the big window in the laundrette, I see Aunt Carolyn holding baby Carl. And where are you off to, little miss, she asks me. I am looking for something beautiful, I say. She hands me Carl and folds up the clothes. I tickle Carl and he giggles, and he makes me giggle too. My baby's laugh is something beautiful, says Aunt Carolyn. I go back home and sit down on my stoop. I look at the trash in my courtyard. I see the word die on my door. I go upstairs and get a broom and a sponge and some water. I pick up the trash. I sweep up the glass. I scrub the door very hard. And when die disappears, I feel powerful. Someday, I'll plant flowers in my courtyard. I'll invite all of my friends to see. I will give a real home and a real bed to the lady who sleeps in a cardboard carton. She will sing, and I will hear her song. Mommy comes home from work. She gives me a great big hug. Do you have something beautiful, I ask her. Of course, she says, I have you. At this time, I'd like to share a short message from the author, Sharon Dennis Wyeth.
So I wouldn't have to look at the alley outside. I called the picture my something beautiful. When Mommy gave me the gift, she cautioned me not to forget that I already had something even more beautiful, the something beautiful I had inside. I still have the little picture. I keep it next to my bed. It helps keep alive the memory of childhood and my mother's love.
Signed copies of Something Beautiful to be included in our library, our RE department, and to share with some of you in the audience today. I've asked a few members to share the beauty that makes their heart happy with us today as part of our service. The first is a longtime member and snowbird, Penny Morrison. You'll recognize her friendly face as an active and consistent participant in our events, whether in person or on Zoom. Penny is joining us today from Canada. The sound quality is not the best, but it is an offering well worth listening to. Thank you in advance for your understanding.
Good morning. I'm Penny Morrison, and I'm here in Ontario, Canada right now. But I'm so happy to be able to be with you this morning and share with you my experience of beauty. I want to tell you about my Aunt Jenny's fig tree. Now, my Aunt Jenny, I really never called her Aunt Jenny. We all called her Zizi, because in Italian, the word for aunt is zia. So we called her Zizi. So our Zizi had this beautiful garden in her backyard. She lived in the city, and so her garden was next to her neighbor's garden on either side, and the neighbor in back. And all of these gardeners could look into each other's garden. And I will tell you, my Aunt Jenny, or my Zizi's garden, was the envy of many. The thing that fascinated me as a child was the fig tree. And the fig tree was interesting to me because as a child, I really enjoyed seeing the tree in the spring when the fig tree would get tiny little shoots on it. And then on the end of each shoot was this green nodule that eventually would become a fig. And it took a while for this green nodule to grow into the fruit. And the fig itself was usually ready by fall to be harvested. Not only did the children anticipate this, but the bees loved the fig tree. And those of you who know what figs look like, there is an opening at the bottom of each fig, and the bees sometimes would fly into that opening. I'm not sure if they got drunk or suffocated in there, but sometimes the bees would even die inside the fig. As a result, as children, we were warned to never pick a fig and simply pop it into our mouth. Two problems with children picking them. The first was, if you picked that fig before it got ripe, you wasted the fig. And the second problem was, if you ate it before cutting it in half, you may end up with a bee in your mouth. But this whole thing was highly anticipated when the figs got ripe. If the neighbors were lucky, they were around when the figs got harvested and they could enjoy one. And then eventually we got to enjoy them as well. Now this beautiful tree, as I said, usually the figs were ripe toward the end of the summer, beginning of the fall. But the rush was on in the fall to protect the tree before the first frost. My aunt lived in Trenton, New Jersey. Now, New Jersey is not famous for its temperate winters. And so there was this ritual that everybody had to go through. The tree's branches were trimmed in order to make it slightly smaller. And then the branches were pulled in toward the center. They were roped into place. Then paper was wound around the tree. It was a black paper. It reminds me of what I would call tar paper now. And that tar paper was put around the entire tree, and then some kind of canvas went over the fig tree as well. And the whole thing was held in place by ropes that were tied around the tree from the bottom to the top. And then when the tree was still small, a bucket was placed over the top of the tree so that now it looked like a totem pole protecting the fig tree from the snow, wind, ice, rain. And that's the way it stood as a totem all winter in the garden. In summer, it was released again, and everybody was happy to see the leaves spread out again, and the little stems begin to grow, and the little nodules that started out the figs would appear on the tree. And year after year, this ritual went on. Well, finally, one year, after the tree had grown quite tall, it was just before the frost was supposed to hit. And my aunt was scurrying around, trying to get things together and let her husband and her son-in-law know it was time to wrap the tree for the winter. Well, the men were not enthusiastic about doing this because now the tree was big enough to fight back and taller than they were. And so somebody was brave enough to suggest, why don't we just buy figs next year? Why do we go through this every fall? And my aunt just looked at them. And she said, roots. As a child, when I grew up in a small town outside of Rome in Italy, we had fig trees that went through the same process as this tree. This tree reminds me of my roots. And when she said that, I realized she was talking about my roots too. And that fig tree touched my heart. Now my aunt has passed away long ago, and I'm not sure if the fig tree has survived all these years. But that doesn't matter, because the beauty of that fig tree has remained with me in my heart. I'm happy to share.
Thank you, Penny, for sharing that heartwarming story. We appreciate you. The second person I've asked to share with us today is AJ. AJ is 8 years old, and he's one of our most active youth participants. He frequently lights our chalice, ushering in the symbolic unity and hope of our beliefs. Okay, AJ.
What makes my heart happy is my little sister, Jackie. And I like it when she laughs because it makes me laugh too.
You gonna bring her up on the stage? You gonna bring her up close? When I asked AJ, he just... When I asked AJ to share with us today, he didn't have to think about what his something beautiful was going to be at all. He just instinctively looked over and immediately he knew. And so, thank you. Thank you, AJ. Thank you for your beauty, AJ, that we all look forward to delighting in for many years to come. Finally, I'd like to thank each of you who are joining us in person or via video for your consideration and agreement in spirit and body of the themes of this story in our service.
Hey, AJ, Jacqueline was almost my something beautiful, too. My first thought when we talked about our something beautiful was I've been helping out in the nursery, and every time I see Jackie and AJ, it makes my heart sing. So, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. That worked out. Good. All right, our offertory is coming, and this Sunday's Share the Plate recipient is Francis House, a program dedicated to pregnant and new moms who are experiencing homelessness. Francis House provides 3 months of temporary accommodations, counseling, including job counseling, and help in finding sustainable, independent housing. Please consider supporting Francis House by giving generously, and I'm pleased to introduce a representative from Francis House to tell us more about it. I have forgotten your name.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting us here today. As was just said, Francis House is a program of Family Promise of Sarasota. We are now Family Promise of Sarasota Manatee. In our work to provide support services for families with children who are trying to prevent homelessness or who are already in a cycle of homelessness, we became aware of a need that wasn't being addressed in the community, and that was for women who are experiencing homelessness but who are pregnant. They are expecting a child and they have other children in their custody. We have emergency shelters here in the area, but for a woman who's pregnant or who's newly delivered a child, the emergency shelters are difficult because you have to vacate the premises every morning. There's no way around that, and you're not allowed back in until dinner time. And as a new grandmother, I had just come off of my daughter's childbirth, and I thought, if my daughter were homeless today, what would she be doing all day with her newborn baby? How would she feed her baby? How would she nap and become restored? And if she had other children, how would she be taking care of them if she were experiencing homelessness? So we had asked Grace Church on Vamo Road if they would consider renting us the small property in the back. We opened those doors. Thank you to the many volunteers. The co-chair of our committee is with me today. Mary Margaret, if you will raise your hand. Mary Margaret and her partner in this mission, Cindy Schock, put together the most amazing program for us, all with the help of volunteers. Women come into our program while they are experiencing homelessness and are pregnant, and they are welcome to stay with us through the duration of their pregnancy and until their infant is about 3 to 4 months old. At that time, we can transition them either into a partner program or move them into independent housing. It's all done with the work and effort of volunteers. So thank you all. We have plenty of volunteer opportunities. I have some handouts on this table, and I encourage you please to take one and learn more about us. But the women who are in our program, we provide them with a pack and play changing table bassinet. They take that with them when they leave our program. They're provided with every comfort of home in this small house. And so throughout the program, we rely on the kindness and generosity of people like you who've enabled us to create this program. We don't have tight funnels of government funding where we're not allowed to respond. We saw a need, we were able to step up, and we were able to address it. Over time, I would love to see Francis House become larger and be able to invite more families to stay with us. But we're very excited to just have our moms and watch our babies be born and send them off into what we hope will be a new supported, sustainable start. And we will work with all of the graduates of our program for up to a year afterwards to make sure that they stay stabilized. So we'll be here after if anyone has has any questions, please take a copy of our handout. It has wish list items on it. And just thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that's done for us by members of the community here. So thank you.
It's hard to imagine a more appropriate charity to give to today. And now, done. The offering will now be taken. Thank you, Don. That was beautiful. My admiration for ministers grows dramatically on days when I happen to be worship leader after a traumatic event, like Friday's Supreme Court decision. I can resonate with Yolanda's story. It feels like someone vile has smeared a series of gross injustices on our collective door frames, leaving us grasping for answers. I don't have any answers. All I have is the wisdom I've gleaned from others. And that wisdom is my something beautiful for today. Like Yolanda, I love books, and they bring me great comfort. But this week, my wisdom came from the General Assembly that's being held in Portland, Oregon. This is a gathering of Unitarian Universalists from all over the country, all sharing their opinions and activities, showing the world how much we support each other, even in our differences. You will have an opportunity after the service to listen to one of the publicly available sermons, and you can go to uua.org to access a lot of the information that is available for free. But that's just a tip of the iceberg what was available over the weekend. I attended workshops on breaking through class barriers to build community, on soulful singing, accountability and justice work, and I heard sermons on radical welcoming strategies and how we're called by our privileged and checkered past as Unitarian Universalists to engage in anti-racism work as a core social justice practice. There was wonderful music and more inspiration than I could take in. Fortunately, many of the workshops were recorded, and they'll be available for me to listen to in the future. I want to share a simple exercise for releasing tension that I heard in a service. Please be respectful of your neighbor, but I want you to stomp your feet, fist pump, clap your hands, snap your fingers, and growl so that you can let up the pent emotions that flow through your actions. Ready? Go! I'm sorry, was that really loud? Feels good to get some of that anxiety out, doesn't it? General Assembly is where we air the dirty laundry of our association and try to come to agreement on what we consider the most important, where we become aware of new ways of seeing the world, and we learn to appreciate each other's roles and differences, and find the tools to advocate and act on issues that we find most important. Awareness and appreciation can lead to advocacy and action, which hopefully leads to a better world. Become aware of something, you appreciate it, you're more likely to advocate for it and take action on its behalf. Important concept. A theme I've heard over and over is to engage with the public outside our walls, which I know many of us do. The world needs the UU message of acceptance and love. Love regardless of who you love. Unconditional love that understands that many of us need help. Next year, General Assembly is in Pittsburgh, the last full weekend of June. It's on our coast. And Yolanda, Endera, and I hope more of us, maybe Rick, are hoping to attend in person, to harness some of that vital energy that comes with being with like-minded and like-hearted people, to reap some of the wisdom of the trials and successes of others, and to have fun after the pandemic has hopefully receded. Maybe we can get a group to go. There are plenty of nonstop flights from Sarasota to Pittsburgh, and it's a lovely place in the summer. You've seen it, Three Rivers, so pretty. So let me leave you with that aspirational thought. Joining a group of other Unitarian Universalists to celebrate, to learn, to become invigorated, to deepen our commitment to social justice and improving the world, to create something beautiful. All right, we are right on time, so I'm afraid we have something beautiful that people have brought up front here, but we are coming on close to an hour, and we try to keep this to an hour. So I would invite those who have brought something beautiful to stay after the service, come up front. There's 5 or 6 items up on the front table here, and they can talk to one another, or anyone who wants to hear about people something beautiful can come up front and share. And now please join and rise as you're able to sing our final hymn, There's a River Flowing in My Soul. And don't be shy. If you want to move or dance as you want to sing, as you sing, please move or dance.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind.
I close with these words from Reverend Wayne Aronson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Please join us for ice cream in the Lexile wing, commiseration in the west wing, Breeze directory in the east wing. And sharing up front. Come share your something beautiful.